Good morning from Texas.
Coffee Klatch.
Kim and Chad, grab your cup of coffee.
Today is Faith Friday. We're going to talk about our faith.
Yeah.
And the faith that's in the world today.
And you have to be careful. I'm just going to use the LDS Church as an example because there are so many offshoots or sects of the LDS Church. Sects. S-E-C-T-S. Sects. I know that's a hard word to hear clearly when somebody says it.
Sibilants. Yeah, we were working. Sibilants.
Siblo.
Yeah, we're working good. And with both of our journeys, in our faith, you see things, you just go, eh? Okay, polygamy.
Not for me. I'm too jealous of a person.
But I just don't have the energy to put up with two of them.
I'm not sharing my husband with anybody.
God, could you imagine that? I told you to go do this. Okay, I'm going to go do that right now. Get up and as you're heading there. No, I told you to do that.
No, okay. Can't do that.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
We're going to keep going.
Okay. So.
Well, I didn't realize. I'm just,
So. It's weird because if you look it up, you can find so many churches that are offshoots of the LDS Church. And then there are even more offshoots of the LDS Church that the LDS Church does not consider them to be an offshoot.
Yeah.
And the ones that they don't consider to be the offshoots are the polygamous churches, which in a way is kind of ironic because the polygamous churches follow more closely to the original LDS Church that Joseph Smith put out there.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church went through its own Renaissance.
Mm-hmm. Reformation.
Or the Reformation and changed. He says, you know what? Things go forward. Well, for good or bad, it changed with the times. It went from a very Stone Age group to a very modern for the Middle Ages.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it engulfed the monarchies of the era. The Pope had his own army, and then now he doesn't. When you think about it, the Pope was a ruling class. Now he's not.
That's because the Pope wouldn't give King Edward VIII a divorce, and so King Edward, I think it was Edward VIII, said, "I'm starting my own church." So now there's the Church of England.
It was Henry VIII.
Or Henry VIII. Sorry, Henry VIII, because he wanted all these women who couldn't give, because none of the wives he's had could give him a male son. Well, guess what? That's your fault, Henry.
It's like 9 girls, didn't he?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But that's your fault, Henry, not the women.
Let's blow up the entire religion. Let's start from scratch. And, religions change. They should. Now we're at a time when all these religions are going, oh, it's okay to include all these other ideas that are now politically correct. And, part of me is going, create your own church. Have an offshoot. Don't come into the house, my house, and try to change the furniture around. Mm-hmm. You live next door, put the furniture any way you want to. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't hurt my feelings. But just don't try to change us,
The way I view religion, because I have faith, I have a good relationship with God, I read the Bible, I pray twice a day. When I wake up, I say, thank you, God, for giving me this day, allowing me to wake up. And then at night, I will pray and say, thank you, God, for this day I've had. It was wonderful. I thank you for everything I have, good and bad. And I also pray, there are people who will need prayers, and I'll pray for them as well. Now, if you go to a church just because, this is the church my mother always went to, or, it's the church my grandparents went to, does it fit your beliefs? If it doesn't fit your beliefs, find the church that fits your beliefs.
Because that's okay. You can be who you want to be as long as your goal, in my opinion, not rules that I want to enforce on anybody. Right. As long as you're trying to better yourself and your community.
Right. And sorry, you were going to say something.
No. I was done. Go ahead.
Find what fits you. And if your religion doesn't fit us, that's okay, because it's your religion, not our religion. We don't.
If I'm mowing my lawn and you sneak up behind me and hit me on the head, throw me in a sack, then into the back of an unmarked van, and take me to your church.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little upset. But if you come by and say, hey, Chad, and wave and go about your day.
And maybe say, hey, why don't you and Kim come to my church? Just give it a try, see what it looks like.
We're having a potluck.
Yep.
Food is always good.
We don't have a problem with that. In fact, when we were in Idaho and Alabama, we went to several LDS church functions. We went to a couple of their sacrament meetings. But we did the yearly potato feed in Idaho, where you got a big potato with all these toppings. They had a silent auction for the baked goods that the young women's group would do.
And then you could get your yearly supply of potatoes to go down in your basement for pennies.
Right.
It was a great community endeavor.
Right.
And then, and I suggest everybody tries this, just to look around. We went to a mega church in Alabama. Had 5 pastors, 5 different. They had a huge auditorium and they were playing music. In one meeting, they had a very classical meeting in the other. They had a chef on payroll.
Yeah, they didn't do any kind of potlucks or anything like that. Because I went to talk to them about, if you need help from somebody who has culinary skills, who can cook. Yeah. And they're like, oh, no, we have a chef on payroll. Okay. And everybody, the ladies I was talking to, yeah, we have a chef on payroll. Oh, I so miss those potluck days. Oh, I so miss when we would do this.
But it almost seemed like they were getting ready to give us a bill. Like, oh yeah, here's your bill for today's services. Because it was so deluxe and so what, it was almost like a theme park for Jesus. And you just go, wow.
And you'd go in and you'd have to pay for your cup of coffee that you would drink before the services. Unless
you're going to the alcohol and drug addiction rehab session. And then they had the coffee in a big 5-gallon boiler. But you just go, wow.
Yeah, I mean, just fit the church that fits you. I've been it's been very interesting reading the Bible. I mean, I always knew the Bible stories like Jonah and the whale and Noah's Ark and the walls of Jericho. I knew all those Bible stories. But to actually learn
what Deuteronomy meant
or what I haven't gotten to that part.
Oh, I won't spoil it then.
Yeah. But what the original meaning behind tithing was that came from God. You deal with your expenses, your family, making sure everybody has what they need. Then if you have excess and you feel it in your heart, give to God. But there was no, you must. Yeah. It was,
yeah.
If you can kick down a few bucks, we'd appreciate that.
But and I think that was one of the big things that has always affected me about religions. It's been about money. It's been about who's the better member of the church. There's a competition going on, and you sit back and you go, you know what? I don't want to compete. I don't want to be the best of that. Right. No, thank you.
Now, I was raised that when you go to church, you wear your best, your Sunday best. That's why the phrase Sunday best came out, was because women would have their best dresses. No matter how old it was the best dress they owned. It wasn't, you need to go out and you need to buy a new dress for every month and, for Sunday services. It was, you looked your best. It's really nice if you go to a service and everybody's sitting around in jeans or shorts. But
when it's hot in Alabama, that's an okay thing.
Yeah, but I still feel, okay, I need to look my best when I go to church. And as I said, we have not found a religion that
a sect.
Yeah, that we feel fits our beliefs. Right. And we do have different beliefs. And we may end up finding totally different churches. Chad may go, hey, I went to this church. Oh my gosh, it's so great. And I'll go with him and I'm like, I don't think so. It doesn't fit me.
It doesn't fit me, yeah.
And the reverse could happen. That I find one that I'm like, I so love this church. I feel so at home here. And he's, no, not for
now
me.
There's one that they hold at the barbecue place every Sunday.
It's not a church.
I'm thinking about going down to the barbecue place.
It's not a church just because everybody's like, I love this.
Today,
it's not
in the dry rub, we're going to.
Yeah, it's not the burnt offerings to God.
Okay, it could be. I think I just come up with an idea that may shape. Everybody meets up and we set up chairs in the backyard across from the smoker. Smoke. Go to God with all of our prayers. I'm being blasphemous, but I'm sure God's going, yeah. Hey, as long as you get a couple of people together and do good things, I don't care what you do.
But yeah, so if you were not comfortable with the beliefs that the church you attend or you belong to, you were raised in, if you are not comfortable with their beliefs, you don't have to stay.
No. It's...
Go out.
Guilt is a terrible weapon that people wield against each other.
Right, and that's the problem with the churches that are considered cults that we already talked about.
Right.
They're going to use guilt. They're going to use
threats.
They are so high demand that they will fill your life with church meetings almost every day. So you don't have time to realize, hey, this is not the normal.
No.
So, do what feels good for you. What feels good in your heart.
Because growing up, when I went to church, they made me feel less of a person. And then when I didn't go on a mission, they made me feel less of a person. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, I'm not even going to church. I haven't gone to church in 10 years. But we still want you to go on a mission. That's not me exercising my faith. That's you racking up numbers.
Right.
Because it's important that you send 10 instead of 9.
Right, because you can't get to the celestial kingdom of heaven unless you go on a mission, you get married in the temple, you have, at least 6 children.
Yeah. Here's some stepping stones that you must go about so you can become just like us and get to our heaven.
Right. Because we are the one true church.
We're the ones. And I took a step back. And, I'm a good person. I do good things. I've served my country and my community. And I'm not, I hope I am somebody that other people would want to use as an example.
Yeah.
And that's what I've worked at.
And just so you know, if any of you, if the microphone is catching up the wind outside, because it whips between our house and the neighbor's house, yeah, we apologize for that. It's the wind. There's really nothing we can do to stop it.
Now, what kind of tree is that we have outside
I think it's a live oak.
a live oak?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if there was a piece of it that fell
Right.
up and hit the roof, or if it was just the flapper on the
See, I
roof.
thought it was like a mesquite or something like that. And it just snaps, just falls apart.
I
and
think-
stuff goes everywhere.
Yeah, I think they're called live oaks.
Live oaks.
I could be wrong. I'm not I don't have a green thumb. See, there's no green thumb there. I do really good if I can take a cactus and set it outside in the yard and just forget about it. I do
And
great
it
with
still
that.
dies horribly and brutally.
Well, that's only when it freezes.
And we moved to all these warm places, and it still froze everywhere we went. I think we're a curse that just taking it with us.
I mean, we went to Alabama. There was snow.
There was
We went 2
snow.
times. Of course, the snow there was only what they call the devil's dandruff, because it's just. I'm sorry.
I almost lost on that. That was funny. I remember that. Oh, this devil's dandruff.
Yeah. Because it's just a real light powder skipping coming down. It doesn't really stick.
You want to talk about people going to church thinking that the world was going to end? Whoa. Like in Texas, everybody goes, "Oh, the bridges might be slick." And I go, "It's 40 degrees." Yeah, there's this light dusting of very fine, almost confectioner's sugar dust, and a little bit of water, and you've got a mudslide. And everybody goes, "Well, it's not frozen. It's just a touch muddy." And watching guys slide around the corners, doing the Tokyo drift when they don't mean to.
Yeah. So, this Friday Faith thing that we're doing isn't about our faith. It's investigating other churches, cults. I mean, I've learned quite a bit of information, or I need to research what I've heard about all these different polygamous groups that were part of the LDS Church, the original LDS Church. And they broke away and went their own direction after the manifesto in 1890 by Wilford Woodruff. And none of them are considered LDS anymore, but they do follow the original Joseph Smith church.
And I'm going to be doing some investigations on which churches have the best snacks. I think Ken's is going to be a little more hard-hitting than mine.
You did that on purpose.
I did. Hi, I got you back. Hey, everybody. Nice talking to you on this Friday. Hey, we'll see you on Monday. We may do a few spotty ones over the weekend, depending on our mood. But hey.
Yeah, I'm not going to say spotty ones over the weekend. I will probably be on here this weekend by myself because somebody else will be at work.
I'll be working all weekend. Hey, we'll see you on Monday, if not sooner. Like and subscribe.
Love you all.
Send us comments. Bye.